Marriage is the biggest financial decision you'll ever make. Imagine spending a decade building something valuable. Your income, your savings, your future. You make careful choices. You avoid obvious risks. You protect what you've earned. And then one day, you sign a contract that quietly gives another person legal access to half of everything you own now. And half of everything you will ever earn. No background check. No financial audit. No stress test. You sign it because you're in love. If this were a business decision, it would be considered reckless. But because it's personal, we call it marriage. And that single contract has more power over your financial future than your job, your investments, or the stock market ever will. What marriage really is, legally. In movies, marriage is sold as romance. In reality, it is a legal and financial merger. When you get married, the law does not see love. It sees two economic units becoming one. Taxes change. Property ownership changes. Debt responsibility changes. Liability changes. You are no longer just responsible for your own financial behavior. You are now tied to someone else's habits, decisions, impulses, and mistakes. Most people spend more time comparing phone plans than understanding the legal contract of marriage. That's not romantic. That's dangerous. Why financial mismatch is so expensive. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Money problems don't destroy relationships overnight. They drain them slowly. If one partner values saving and stability, and the other values comfort and spending, you don't have balance. You have friction. Not dramatic fights. Not explosions. Just constant pressure. One person wants safety. The other wants enjoyment. And every small decision becomes a negotiation. Vacations, cars, eating out, gifts, subscriptions. None of these feel big on their own. But together, they quietly erase your future. The math most people never run. Let's talk numbers. Imagine you're disciplined. You save $20,000 a year. Over a few decades. With compounding, that becomes freedom. Now imagine your partner doesn't sabotage you intentionally. They just spend a little more. Better car, better trips, daily conveniences. That extra spending reduces savings to $5,000 a year. That difference doesn't cost you comfort. It costs you millions. Not because of divorce, but because compounding never had a chance to work. You weren't losing money. You were losing time. The psychological cost nobody talks about. Here's the part people don't calculate. When one partner becomes the financial guardrail, they also become the villain. You're the one saying no. You're the one tracking numbers. You're the one worrying. Over time, you stop pushing. Not because you're wrong, but because the emotional cost is too high. So you settle. Not for poverty, but for mediocrity. And mediocrity is expensive. When the merger fails. Now let's talk about the worst-case scenario. Divorce. This is where wealth doesn't just leak. It collapses. Two incomes once supported one household. Now they must support two. Efficiency disappears instantly. Then come the transaction costs. Lawyers, fees, forced asset sales, tax consequences. By the time everything is settled, a large portion of your net worth is simply gone. Not invested poorly. Not lost in a crash. Destroyed by structure. And the clock doesn't reset. You are older. You have less time. and compounding is unforgiving. Long-term financial gravity. Sometimes divorce doesn't end the financial tie. Support payments. Ongoing obligations. Court-mandated transfers. These aren't emotional issues. They're fixed costs. They follow you for years. High earners often discover something shocking. They generate income, but don't get to keep it. They are wealthy on paper, but constrained in reality. This isn't bitterness. It's math. Love doesn't replace financial reality. At this point, people usually say, "This sounds cold. Marriage isn't about money." And that's true. But money pressure destroys more relationships than lack of love ever does. Financial stress doesn't shout. It corrodes. If you want romance to survive, the foundation has to be solid. Treating marriage seriously before the wedding protects the relationship after it. The risk of financial blindness. One of the most overlooked dangers is hidden financial behavior. Secret debt, undisclosed spending, avoidance. When you marry, you don't just share a bed. You share legal responsibility. Your credit becomes connected. Your assets become exposed. If your partner sinks financially, you're pulled down with them. Love doesn't cancel liability. Transparency isn't optional. It's survival. How to reduce the risk. This is where most people get uncomfortable. Because the solution is unromantic. You must talk about money early. Clearly, honestly, credit history, debt, spending habits, financial goals. Not to judge, to assess compatibility. You can't fix fundamental differences later. Marriage doesn't correct financial behavior. It amplifies it. Why agreements aren't unloving. Let's address the uncomfortable topic. Protective agreements are not pessimism. They're clarity. They force hard conversations. Before emotions complicate everything. They define expectations. Responsibilities. Boundaries. They are not a plan to fail. They are a plan to prevent disaster. If someone refuses transparency or discussion, that's information. And information is valuable. When marriage works financially, now for the other side. When values align, marriage becomes powerful. Shared goals, shared discipline, shared accountability. Expenses drop. Savings rise. Risk is distributed. Two people rowing in the same direction move faster than one ever could. This is where marriage becomes an advantage. Not magic. Structure. The real decision you're making. Choosing a partner is not just emotional. It's strategic. You are allocating your future to one person. Their habits will shape your outcome. Their discipline will affect your freedom. Choose someone who multiplies effort, not someone who consumes it. Final thought. A broken heart heals. A broken financial foundation can follow you for decades. If this made you think differently about money, about relationships, or about conversations you've been avoiding, take a moment to like this video. Subscribe if you want more breakdowns like this, and share it with someone who needs to hear it before signing the most important contract of their life. I'll see you in the next one.